pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item is review and approval of the agenda. Dr. Roach, are there any changes?
There are no changes or additions. I recommend approval as presented, please.
Heard the superintendent's recommendation that the agenda be approved as presented. Do I hear a motion?
Madam President?
Yes, Mrs. Corn.
I so move.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Reese. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. The next is review, the consent agenda, which includes review and approval of the accounts payable voucher listings, review and approval of the minutes of the regular session on July 28th, 2025, the regular meeting minutes on July 28th, 2025, and the executive session minutes of July 28th, 2025. Are there any questions regarding the consent agenda? If not, I'll assume there's consensus and we'll move on to item 4, which is recognition. Spotlight recognition.
Let's go first. Yeah. All right. So for the elementary, we're recognizing our students who had a perfect iRead score. iRead is taken in 3rd grade. The state 3 years ago moved it down to 2nd grade as optional. Now it's mandatory. And 2 of our students achieved a perfect score on that test. And we have Emma Brown.
Yay.
And Elsie Schlegel was our other perfect score.
Gotta get a picture, okay?
That's a great picture.
Nice job. Good job. Good work, girls.
Mr. Gondel, you're up.
Sure. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce, when we were asked to highlight a group, this group came to me in July as the principal, wanted to do something to get the year going, and we're planning and putting things together. I want to extend thanks to Ms. Christ and Mr. Christ, the advisors, and they started out helping us with an outstanding service during back to school night. Their support distributing schedules and warmly welcoming families played a key role in the event running smoothly. They knew the students before they came up. In July, they planned last week. We had a spirit week, culminated with a cookout, and then the volleyball game and a dance on Saturday. And we want to encourage our students to have their voice in their school. And this group has stepped up. As you see tonight, there's many folks here, and it's outstanding to see them taking ownership of that leadership position. And that's what we want to recognize our Daleville Junior Senior High School Student Council as a whole. When I call your name, if you want to come around and collect your certificate, or kind of your left to right as you're looking at me, and we'll get going here. Camprina Powell. Braden Sigler. Gloria Ocean. Bailey Biner. Jocelyn LeMay. Rogue Miller. Kinley Murray. Cade Campbell. Adrian Stiers. McKenna Corbin. Olivia Ratcher. Amar Gooch. Keely Oxley. Branson Gruel. Jenna Brand. Blake Peebler. Nicole Brown. Alyssa Richmond. Kinsey Erickson. Alexis Pratchett. Peyton Brown. Maddie Reeves. Trinity Ellis. Trace Fritz. Isaiah Gooch. Olivia Talaferro. There's Olivia. Thank you. Good job. Skylar Forehand. Isaac Cunningham. Did I miss anyone, Miss Chris? Do we have them all? Anyone else? Blake? Okay, good. Special thanks. You know, it takes a lot of effort to plan these things, to get the school moving. You know, the year's kicked off to a good start. I appreciate all of their effort, and moreover, taking pride and ownership in their school. It's an awesome thing to see, and I certainly appreciate the effort as a whole and the leadership from the students and their advisors in getting us off to a good start this year. So thank you all. Outstanding job.
If students would like to leave, they're welcome to leave. If you don't want to sit through the rest of the board meeting.
Students had a full day. Students and whoever did the certificates was busy. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is comments from patrons. This is your time to ask a question. If there are no questions, we'll move on to reports on schools for administrators. Mr. Gondel, do you want to go first?
Sure. Right. We have a Peterson High School school report, committee audit of bank statements that have been completed in July.
Conducted individual grade level meetings. We went over student expectations and opportunities for each grade level to start the year. August classroom walkthroughs are in progress. We'll go through and visit each classroom through our evaluation system. And we put in place this year a positive behavior system program for 7th and 8th, where while we have high expectations, when students are doing meeting those expectations or doing good things in the school and in the classroom, teaching, learning, helping others, they can earn a Bronco buck. And every 3.5 weeks, we'll open the Bronco store where they can buy snacks at lunch, different items that 7th and 8th grade find interesting, wireless earbuds they can use at home, different things like that we were able to bring in and stock the store with. So a lot of pieces too. If they're working on their exact path and they earn a trophy, they get a ticket or a Bronco buck for their trophy. So we're excited about that. Like I said, it's a reward, but it's also recognizing that they're meeting that expectation, and we want to recognize that and celebrate that with them. So it's a kind of cool piece to have for our 7th and 8th grade this year, and we have our teachers and staff have those and distribute those when they see those good things happening. Dual credit courses, you see the list there: finite, quantitative reasoning, trigonometry, pre-calc, calculus 1, calculus 2, bio 2, human anatomy, U.S. government, U.S. history, advanced speech, public speaking, English, composition, art appreciation. And that's a testament to those teachers that have those credentials that enable them to teach that all in-house. And last year, I think we had close to 20% of that graduating group that were able to have that first year of school pretty much taken care of. So it's a big savings to those as they move forward upon graduation. So that's always impressive when we look at that list each year. The Project Lead the Way classes, the Computer Integrated Manufacturing, Intro to Engineering, Principles of Engineering, Principles of Biomedical and Medical Interventions is another step, and those are always exciting. The group in there in the biomedical series does a nice job. Ms. Finley leads that. They do some the coursework and then some of the trips they do associated with that. We have a lot of our students, when I say a lot, over 20% interested in going into medical. So being able to give them, an opportunity to explore careers in that early on and what those entail is part of that
And they're doing
process.
some job shadowing too at the same time.
Yes, they do that as well. So those are popular classes. Enrollment, as you see, 460s is where we're at as of last Friday. So strong enrollment numbers there. That's higher than typically what we've been. And then on the extracurricular front, in August we completed all sports parent meeting. We had standing room only. We had to put out chairs. I always enjoy putting out chairs. That means the attendance is outstanding. We filled the cafeteria. We had a fall coaches meeting as well. We met with fall coaches with Mr. Hansen. That's a credit to Mr. Hansen for filling those things and making those happen. So he's done a nice job as our athletic director, putting those in place and sharing those opportunities and expectations with the students and the parents as well. The boys varsity basketball team, they helped out cleaning up the greenhouse and getting that ready for use. We appreciate their help and leadership with Coach King and that group. They did a nice job on a Saturday getting that in shape so we can use it. The elementary and high school can utilize that again this year. And then the student council, you just saw that was a lot of them, and they're reliable and they show up. They opened the week of last week, 18th through the 22nd for fall season and just in general this positive school atmosphere. So we appreciate their work. And the girls golf, they finished 4th in the Delaware County tournament. They got a nice group, some young golfers in that, but they're working hard. So thank you.
Mr. Reeves?
So our budget mini audit's been completed as well. We have our enrollment there. We're at 551, which I think is just 4 different than we were this time last year. Really a great start to the year. Consistency of keeping teachers is huge, and to have retained all of our teaching staff, and the addition of Mrs. Wordinger has been, students have loved it. She's already got a group of students staying after school that she's like, I just can't get to them enough. So she's communicated with parents and on her own time said, hey, I got some kids that want to stay with me, so I'm going to keep them here. So definitely a great start to the year. Our I-read scores were very strong. I believe we were 2nd highest in the county. Westdale got us by less than the percentage. And we did beat Yorktown. That is our goal every year. Push for that. So
It's always a good day.
but man, our teachers put in a lot of time, and I know across the state scores improved. I said we can't improve 20% like some of the schools. So I think we were 94.7, I believe was our percentage. But our teachers, that 3rd grade team really tackled I-read with a They started their win time, what I need, and they broke all the kids up and identified all the skills, and definitely was a huge help for us. And then Miss Tungate with the retest does a great job. We added Mrs. Roberts and Mrs. Pittsford. They were new additions to our instructional assistant team, and man, they've just hit the ground running. Miss Roberts is in Miss Kay's class. I'm very fortunate there. She was a kindergarten teacher. Now she's a kindergarten aide. She doesn't want to be a teacher, but a very valuable resource there. Athletics, volleyball, and cross country are off to a pretty strong start. We have a few students playing soccer as well in the junior high soccer team. Something new this year, we started a weekly compass lesson. If you remember last year, we did compass lessons for you've been sent to the office. Here's a compass lesson to learn about your poor choice. Let's not make it again. Ms. Crabtree said, hey, there's a curriculum that does weekly themes like respect, personal space, time management. There's a whole curriculum for the year where teachers show a video on Monday. We then announce it as well. But it kind of became our focus of let's be more proactive. I think those lessons were beneficial, but can impact a lot more students with those weekly lessons. So with that became how do we communicate the amazing things kids are doing with that each week. So we started postcards, stole this from the high school actually. We've encouraged teachers to write one postcard a week for students that are just standing out and meeting those expectations. So that'll start in September.
Awesome.
Our iLearn data and then some adjustments. And I have a link there. I like to look at our elementary versus elementaries that are similar to us, but then I also put Yorktown and Delta on there as well. They're obviously larger schools. ELA, we know we have some work. 5th grade ELA is where Mrs. Wordinger takes over. So I'm excited to see that. I told her no pressure, but she's very excited for that challenge. Our math was, in the county, we do very well math-wise and had a few grade levels. We were in the 60, 70%, which is well above state average, but was in the middle of the county. So our math program, we use Vimy. Our teachers did not love it at first, and it's hard. They love it this year. And as we've seen scores in our diagnostics, they're like, okay, it's working. But a number of the other county schools now use it as well. So definitely beneficial to our students. Some changes we'll have. One of them is just our success. We continue to tweak that a little bit. And what does it look like? 5th grade specifically will be ELA only. They're going to actually kind of go back to the old days of what the 8-step process of we're going to do a pre-test, we're going to regroup, and then we're going to do a post-test. So that was our grade level. We've noticed no matter what group of students are there, struggles the most ELA. So there's something from 4th grade to 5th grade that's a challenge for them. So we're hoping that can target those skills. We noticed with Vimy, there's a weekly assessment. So we have a snapshot every week. How are our students doing? Who needs help? We didn't have that in ELA. So there are actually Mrs. Dr. Roach created study island assessments that are every 2 weeks. So she took our curriculum maps from the state, made our maps, and then created assessments every 2 weeks that'll target those skills. Then we'll look at them and say, okay, what do those students need? What do we need to adjust instruction-wise? So I will say last year we offered them as optional to teachers, and the one who used them the most was Mr. Basinger. He had our highest ELA scores. So we're hoping with everybody doing those and then Mr. Joseph and I monitoring those, it will be an improvement. Our STARS program starts up tomorrow. That's with our high ability students. And it's this year. Mr. Curry's going to move over to 5th grade success. STARS will be Mrs. Heinzelman, Miss Robinson, Miss Weston, and Mrs. Simpola. So those 4 will kind of tackle that enrichment piece each day. And just, had a shout out, Mr. Gondel, Mr. Bendez, and Mr. Hanson. The culture, there's a noticeable difference in this building, I would say. So cool to see at that Friday volleyball game. You have Mr. Gondel's up there in the student section, and you got Mr. Bendez down on the other end of it. Mr. Hanson's making his lap. So it's definitely a culture shift for the positive. I see it at my house, obviously, with Mandy working here, Maddie being a student, but it's very cool to see. It's a good place to be right now. So thank you. Props.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Roach? Fund
Yeah,
report?
start with the fund report. You can see the education fund's a little over $1 million, and that's always kind of where we want it to be, just to have that reserve there if needed. Just a reminder, in 2008, the last 3 months of the year, the basic grant was not given to students, so you always want to be prepared for that in case we hit financial hardships as a state. We have some cushion there. The operations fund's down. We ended the time in a positive $449. So we are going to ask for a transfer today. We knew that. We run it down after we get our draws in May and June, and then replenish with operations or transfers from the education fund. Rainy day fund has actually gone up over the last month, even though we have some expenses. We finally got our rebate check for the solar field. You can see that's $101,000 that we got in, and we paid for all that solar field out of the rainy day fund, so we put it back in there. The rest of the funds are in great shape. You'll see some negatives once you get down to page 2, and those are all reimbursement funds, and we're just continually asking for reimbursement on those, but we're continually spending money out of them as well. At the end of the year, that'll all balance out, and should be a zero balance once we get reimbursed. So overall, in really good shape. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of page 4, you can see our cash balance is $3.39 million. So that's, once again, that's in the 25 to 30% of our actual budget, which is really good shape. The DLGF will tell you that's a strong financial standing for us. Just a couple other things. The Ball Brothers tour of the Outdoor Learning Lab will take place on Thursday, September 11th. I think we sent you an invite to that, but if not, we'll get that to you. I think, Jason, they're going to be here at 10. Is that right? You start with us, 10 o'clock. And that's the Ball Brothers Foundation has put a lot of grant money to us that has helped us on that Outdoor Learning Lab. So if you can be here, it would look really good. So Thursday, September 11th at 10 o'clock. They're doing a tour of all the outdoor learning places throughout the county, and obviously we're one of those. So it'll be a really good day. There'll be a lot of people besides the Ball Foundation here for that tour. And then you saw the enrollment reports from the 2 buildings. So we're at 1,011 students right now, and I think that's going to stabilize pretty close to that, I hope, and I think it will. That's up about 26 from last year in the fall. So it's always good to have a little bit more for that funding. So, but feel really good about that.
Any questions? Move on to items for school board discussion, possible action. The first is a hearing on collective bargaining for Daleville Community Schools.
Now, this hearing is what we have to do to start our bargaining sessions informally until September 15th, and it's just an opportunity for the public to give us input on what and how we should bargain with the teachers, if anybody so desires.
The other is the 2026 capital expenditures plan.
Yeah. Does anybody have any comment on the collective bargaining? Then we can
No.
close that. Okay. Okay, the capital expenditure plan, if you'll pull that up. On page 2 are our capital projects. You see a lot of them on there. The painting, $50,000 for the elementary and $75,000 for the high school. Those are extremely inflated numbers, budget numbers. If we go over the number we put out here, we have to come back and have another hearing. These things do not have to be done. They're not scheduled to be done at this point, but I leave them on there and just to have them. Roofing, $500,000. That would be actually from a bond. So all these expenditures are the capital projects hearing talks about expenditures out of the operations fund. But I put them in here so we have things that if we have a major problem with a roof or HVAC, you can see $500,000 for each building as well. Then we have it approved through this hearing that we can spend that money out of operations if we have to. You can see some capital equipment, the utility vehicle, bleachers. We did have one set of bleachers that was damaged severely with the windstorms last year. And just equipment, desks, chairs, and cabinets. Generally, we pay for those out of bonds. But this, having them on here means we can pay for them out of the operations fund. A sign that we talked about at the superintendent's office, and then science equipment. We're trying to get grants for that. but just if we needed operational expense and then Chromebooks. Once again, we use bonds for Chromebooks as well. So most of the stuff we won't use the operations fund for, but it's good to have it approved that we can use the operations fund in case we need to do it. So I'd recommend approval of the capital expenditures plan, please.
All right. Any questions? You've heard the superintendent's recommendation that the board approve the capital project plan as presented to us. Do I hear a motion?
Madam President,
Yes, Mrs. Reese?
I so move.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Anthony. Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Carried. So the next, we have the action regarding personnel report.
Yeah, in your personnel report, there are 2 classified hiring recommendations. Danielle Pittsburgh, instructional assistant at the elementary school, effective August 4th. So obviously there's been a meeting, or it's happened in between meetings. And Shonda Dilk, a bus aide for the school corporation, effective August 18th, 2025. I'd recommend approval of both of those recommendations, please.
Any questions? Heard the superintendent's recommendation that the board approve the personnel report as presented to us. Do I hear a motion?
Madam President,
Yes, Mrs. Anthony?
so moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Corn. Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Carried. And then we have the athletics.
Yeah, the athletics, Mr. Hanson sent you a list of, it's like 18, I think, people, just adding to the list of ECA positions. I'd recommend approval of all of these people, please.
Okay. You've heard the superintendent's recommendation that the board approve the information from our athletic director, the hires as presented to us. Do I hear a motion?
Madam President,
Yes, Mrs. Corn.
I so move.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Anthony. Madam Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Vicky Reese,
Please.
Kip Corn,
Yes. I'm staying, and it got caught in my throat, my cough drop. I'm
Kip Corn?
saying yes.
Cassie Anthony,
Yes.
Diane Evans.
Yes. Congratulations, Jason. One more job. All right, now we're down to donations.
We have 2 donations, both coming from the class of 2025. The first one is $1,000 to the class of 2027, and the second one is to the Student Activities Fund in the amount of $1,772.88. That's just a spend down of the funds that they had as they left as graduates. I'd recommend approval of the donations, please.
Any questions? Heard the superintendent's recommendation that the board accept the donations from the class of 2025 of $1,000 and the class of 2025 of $1,772.88 as presented to us. Do I hear a motion?
Madam President,
Yes, Mrs. Anthony?
I so moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Reese. Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Carried. And we thank them for that. Now we have fundraisers.
Yeah, there are 3 fundraisers for your consideration. The first one is the DHS Student Council having the Sadie's Dance on August 22nd, which already took place. And as Mr. Gondel said, it was a success. And that's to raise funds for homecoming and leadership opportunities. Then our band is doing a Pampered Chef sale from August 13th through the 31st to purchase music and supplies. And then the travel group that we created last spring with Mrs. Owens, a rummage sale to help the students going on their summer trips in 2026 and 2027. And that'll run from August 29th through September 1st. I recommend approval of the 3 fundraisers, please.
All right. Any questions? For the superintendent's recommendation that we approve the 3 fundraisers as presented to us. Do I hear a motion?
Madam President,
Yes, Mrs. Reese?
I so moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Corn. Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Carried. All right. Now then, we are down to consideration of a transfer from the education fund to the operations fund, which you've already addressed.
Yeah, this is the fund I referred to earlier. It's a little less than 14.9%, which is what we have to stay on at 15% for a year. So we just try and hit 14.9 every time we make the transfer. So the recommendation is for $100,000 to be transferred from the education fund to the operations fund. I'd recommend approval of that transfer, please.
All right, questions? You've heard the superintendent's recommendation that the board approve the resolution to transfer $100,000 from the education fund to the operations fund as of August 25th, 2025. Do I hear a motion?
Madam President,
Is that cool?
it's me.
Thank you,
Sorry.
Mrs. Corn.
I so moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Anthony. Motion made and seconded. Madam Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Vicky Reese,
Yes.
Kip Corn,
Yes.
Cassie Anthony,
Yes.
Diane Evans.
Yes. And the last part is where we look at our goals for the 2025-2026 school year. Are there any changes or any suggestions while we're up here?
No, pretty soon we'll be ready to go hand out snacks at the high school. We won't have to talk about that. Get a day, recess at the elementary.
In the fall?
Why are you looking puzzled? This fall? It's close enough to
Yes.
fall?
When it's cold? I need a cool
I
day.
would go last 2 weeks of
Yeah, but-
September.
Yeah, let us know in September.
We'll be happy to hand out snacks and we'll be happy to do recess.
Glad to have you.
All right. Then we have for the good of the cause. It's really nice to see all the students here tonight that we got to recognize. And you had said, Mr. Gondel, next month we'll be recognizing the band.
I'd like to recommend them to be spotlighted next month after being Class A champions at the Indiana State Fair. They did not, they've improved steadily every year, and to get them recognized, I think it'd be meaningful for them to recognize their achievement. So yes.
Good. All right.
I wanted to have a good of the cause. I just wanted to comment again on all of the students after your tailgating. I mean, the bleachers were full. That was where they put the bleachers down in front. They were full of students, and they stood that whole game. They did not sit down. They didn't, and they weren't on their phones unless they were taking pictures of silliness they were doing. So it was amazing. I loved it.
It was a good night, and that's a credit to what they put together as a student council leading up to that. I thought I could load them up with hot dogs and chips before, and they were a little calm. They were still fired up. So no,
Getting energy to do
we had
push-ups.
ping pong outside, cornhole, and we cooked about 150 hot dogs and chips, and it was a nice evening all the way around, and it was a great game.
We have good students here.
We do.
Yeah, they got the win, didn't
We did.
Yeah.
We have good students. Do we have anything else? We're adjourned.